Hey guys, Kalltorak here. Today, I am bringing you my Reflect Ignite Infernalist. This build is insanely powerful, especially for how cheap it was to get set up. I'm already level 86, and I made this character yesterday. I've gotten my 4th Ascendancy points, and red maps are really chill. With gear investment, this will just become way better. There's quite a bit going on here, but it's really cool. A massive shout out to the creator Kalltorak. I'll have a link to his channel down below. He was the first person I saw using this mechanic. He was doing this setup using spells. I won't be going fully into his style, but if you want to play a ranged, non-reflect version of this build, please head over to his channel and give him a subscribe. The core of this build is Beira's Anguish. It is a new unique charm that when you become ignited, you ignite enemies in your presence as though dealing fire damage equal to 500% of your maximum life. This charm is where all of our damage is coming from. A massive amount of its damage scaling comes from your life, so you are going to be life stacking with this build. It only triggers when we get ignited, so that's where Infernalist comes in. Infernalist has the Ascendancy passive Grinning Immolation. Become ignited when you deal a critical hit, taking 15% of your maximum life and energy shield as fire damage per second. Gain 50% more critical damage bonus as well, which is very nice for this build, but more on that later. So yeah, you deal a crit, you ignite yourself, then the charm procs, making you immune to the ignite damage. Then add on the unique chest Pragmatism. This makes your charms use no charges, allowing us to get infinite procs of Beira's Anguish. By stacking increased presence area of effect on my scepter, jewels, and passive tree, I've gotten my presence area pretty big. You can actually check this in game now if you didn't know. Hover over a passive in the tree with presence, and pin it by clicking the top corner. Then close the passive tree. Hover over the presence tooltip and it will show your aura size. When I crit, then ignite myself, the charm procs, every enemy in this area gets ignited. Pretty awesome. This can be doubled by using the unique helmet Alpha's Howl, but it's very expensive. The build I'm using is on a budget, but I wouldn't be using that helmet anyway. I'm currently using Crown of the Pale King and Thorns to try and proc the crits. When I started this character, I was planning on doing Avatar of Fire Thorns with Ignite. But as I was leveling, all of my viewers kept asking why I wasn't doing Beira's instead. I just wasn't aware of it at this point. This is clearly the best way to scale an Ignite Reflect build. So, when I hit level 52 for Pragmatism, I swapped to leveling this style, and it was immediately amazing. Thorns is still a part of the build. It is what's generating our crits. If you follow along my Warbringer Thorns, you know I hit 100% crit chance for Thorns. Briar Patch Laced Boots gives flat critical hit chance. Right now, again with minimal investment, I'm at a 70% chance to crit with Thorns. The Thorns damage is super low, only 47 to 87 Thorns damage, but that doesn't matter at all. The damage of the Thorns hit isn't important. All that matters is critting. I just need a crit to ignite myself, then the charm does the rest. With testing, Kalltorak found out that the charm is not only scaling off of maximum life, but critical damage bonus was impacting it as well. So we've invested a lot into getting our crit damage bonus higher. This build is far from min-maxed. I'm missing max life grand spectrums. Most of my pieces are budget items or items I had from other characters, and I'm still dominating the endgame. Seriously, when I made it to endgame, I was almost immediately into red maps and farming Waystone 15s easily. While I don't consider this a Thorns build, despite it using Thorns, this is a very fun Ignite Reflect build that has some serious potential. Kalltorak was able to clear Breach +4, and every day he seems to be finding new ways to improve our damage. If you aren't a fan of playing Reflect builds, please go check out his video. I'm sure you can make this style work with many different skills. Okay, let's just dive into where I'm at with this build. Again, it's still in its early phases. When I started this character yesterday, I had no currency remaining. Like, I had just spent everything getting my Warbringer set up with Thorns and the lightning stuff, so I have been currencies farmed. I just got to endgame and started making some currency, so in like a day or two, probably expect an update video of like how I've pushed this build even further maybe. But yeah, just there's going to be some awkward things where it's like, why don't I have a rune socket here? Well, it's because the presence area of effect runes are 90 exalts, and this scepter is a 1 exalt scepter I bought that was super cheap. You know, there's a lot of little things like that it can be min-maxed further, but this is at least getting you guys like a, hey, this is what this is doing, and it's pretty awesome. So here's the character. I'm level 89 on my Infernalist right now. I'm currently at almost 3,000 life. I have 749 mana. 749 mana actually helps a lot because we are using Mind Over Matter, so we have effectively almost 4,000 defensive life right now, including the energy shield. So it's not the most tanky, but it's pretty good. I'm not cold res cap. I'm at 76 fire res, 72 lightning. We have Altered Flesh that makes most of my damage being taken fire damage right now. And of course the negative chaos res is really rough. One of the problems with this build is because it's just so unique heavy, and especially since I'm doing the Thorns version that requires 2 unique Thorns items, it's just so hard to get resistances when you're on a budget. Now I imagine once I've invested more money into this set, I can get the chaos res higher, and I can get all of this ironed out a little bit better. But again, this is on an extreme budget. You guys will be able to get this build set up, unless there's a massive price in some of the costs of these uniques. You should be able to at least get like 1 rune socket version set up pretty cheaply. And then yeah, looking at my Thorns damage, like the Thorns damage, again, it is a Thorns build, but it's not really a Thorns build because we're not maximizing our Thorns damage. All we need to do is just proc the Thorns, and it needs the crit. We can get the crit higher. The crit damage bonus is insane. This is twice as high as it is on my Warbringer. This comes from the Ascendancy as well as some Anoint stuff we've done. But yeah, the crit damage bonus is really nice. It apparently does matter for Beira's Anguish, which of course is the core of this build. It is how we're doing most of our damage. A couple things about this. Its cooldown is based off its duration. So you actually want its duration as short as possible. I bought this one. It was cheap. When I bought it, I didn't realize the quality was increasing its duration, and that duration was that important to being low. So you actually don't want quality on this. You want its duration as low as possible. Because you just want to be able procking it as many times as possible. Its cooldown is tied to its duration, so get that duration lower. That's also why we're wearing the Bijou-born double belt. Now, I don't know if you actually need this. It's honestly kind of nice because of the reduced charm effector, but there might be ways to use other belts. But this is a non-corrupted version. This can get up to like over 50% reduced charm effect duration, so that's really, really nice for Beira's Anguish. It's just going to be making you... it's really nice for mapping when you're proccing it way more. But yeah, you want to get its duration low for the cooldown, and yeah, it's when you get ignited, it does its damage to all enemies in the presence. You know, and because we have the loop going on with Pragmatism, we're just getting this infinite charms going off. So anytime the cooldown's up, if I crit, which is a pretty short cooldown right now, I'm going to be doing Ignite to all enemies in that radius. That's really fun. Again, so you can do this with any skill. I'm doing it with Thorns. You know, guys, I like doing the Reflect builds. I've had like half of my builds I've posted have been either Magma Barrier, Thorns, Arctic Armor, builds like that. So this is just another one down that style. This can be played with a lot of different styles, and it's honestly probably better to play with a ranged spell. Again, go check out Color Peon's video. You might want to copy his, but the changes up that I've done for my style is I've added the shield. He talks about how wands, the added elemental damage for fire, cold, and lightning can add a lot of damage to your Beiras, but because I'm needing to take hits to proc Thorns, I felt the shield was required. Active block, or excuse me, raise shield for the active block is just too damn important, especially at my gear level. Maybe when I have way more life with the grand spectrums and like better reses and stuff, I won't need the raise shield, but right now it's required. And then it was choosing between the scepter and the wand damage. He talks about it in one of his videos. Again, go to his videos, but he says the wand damage is very minor. It's an additional boost to damage, but it's very minor. Versus the scepter, which has malice. The crit is really nice. The increased presence area of effect. This is a really bad scepter. It was very cheap. It was 1 exalt. It's only got 44% increased presence area of effect. I'm going to replace it soon. I think these go up to like 90% increased area of effect presence, so I can get my presence way bigger. And then the 100 spirit is nice. Right now, I am currently running Elemental Conflux, which I need to get a 3rd spirit gem in, but I could swap the blink as well. But yeah, that's the change up from his build, is he was using Wand and Scepter, I'm using the shield. The shield comes with some added benefits. Since we're not using Alpha's Howl and we're using Briar Patch Lace Boots, he's not using Briar Patch, he's just using a rare boot, so he's able to get more rarity and more resistances from his boots. We don't have that option because our boots are being taken up by Briar Patch. So that's where the shield comes in. It's extra maximum life and it's extra rarity. Without the shield, I would be way worse off on my rarity. It's just like, without the shield, I couldn't do the wand version, right? Like, if I swapped this for the wand, sure, my damage would be better, but look at my resistances. It's just, yikes. Lose 250 life, too, which is more damage. So, right now, I'm just doing shield scepter. It just seems better for the reflect style. Black Flame Amethyst Ring. I did this in my Incinerate build. It's just a big damage increase for any Ignite build. And since this is purely Ignite damage, it's just a guaranteed add. The increased mana regeneration is okay since we're using Mind Over Matter. We got the Chaos Res. And, yeah, the increased magnitude on Ignite is really nice. Obviously, the reduced duration isn't the best, but trust me, this is a huge damage increase, especially since we're combining it with stuff like Withering Presence and Blasphemy. This is stuff that I was doing on my Incinerate build. I was doing Incinerate with Black Flame Ring, and it was really cool. In patch 0.1, and yeah, this all just helps burn the Ignite chaos damage. So I would, if I had more spirit, I would potentially add Temporal Change to this as a defensive layer, or I would just run Blink if I got a lot more spirit. And that's where the Alpha's Howl comes in. If you're using the Alpha's Howl helmet that has the increased area of effect presence, or the doubling of it rather, that comes with 100 spirit on it. So you would probably just run Blink with that. But again, I am running a Crown of the Pale King version. You could potentially run Alpha's Howl with Thorns. You would have to rely solely on melee Thorn proc hits, but that would just be way too difficult, I think. I think you're just better off. If you're wanting to play Reflect Exile, you'll be running Crown of the Pale King. In some of these, I have Res Runes. In an ideal world, you are Res capped from gear, and every single one of these sockets you're running Max Life. You just want to get your max life as juiced as possible. All the other slots, it's just juicing max life and rarity on gloves and probably on a jewel. When you look at my jewels later, they are not good jewels. Again, super budget right now, but gain life per enemy kill, or excuse me, gain mana per enemy killed, whether it's percentage on the jewel or these gloves right here. Because we're doing Mind Over Matter, I've said it like 4 times, so let me just show you in case you don't know what it is. Mind Over Matter is all damage is taken from your mana before life. We're not using mana in this build. We're using a rank level 3 shield charge. It doesn't cost mana. So we literally just, it's just an extra life pool. So it's really nice to just, like when you're killing mobs, you're going to be losing a lot of mana constantly because you're taking damage, but this will constantly be filling back up your mana. It's just like, it's almost like it's leeching life, but it's leeching mana, which is life. Or you're gaining the life from the kills, rather. So it's a nice little defensive layer. So I would look for gaining mana per enemy killed on your gloves. If not, I would get on a jewel, the percentage mana. On rings, this is just more max life resistances, get your stats higher. Again, the Bijou Born is just the 2 additional charm slots. Right now, I'm using Forsaken Bangle. It's just because my Chaos Res is so low. It helps a lot. And you recruit as life and mana during the effect. And I'm running Freeze right now. I'm thinking about swapping this to Bleed, to be honest. And then on the neck, percentage increase the maximum life, max life. Just getting as much stats as possible. That's it for the gear, I think. Now, these jewels are very much a work in progress. Keep an eye on the Mobalytics link. I'm sure these are going to be changing because, again, like I can't 3-link, 4-link all of this stuff right now. I'm lacking spirit. If I had better spirit rolls on certain items and stuff, I need to get a third spirit support gem into Elemental Conflux, the Lightning Mastery, and it's not a max level support gem right now. But Elemental Conflux, it's just a DPS increase. It does increase the damage of Beira's Anguish, just like the wands do. Withering Presence just puts Wither up on the mobs because we're doing Chaos Ignite. It does increase its damage. Shield Charge, I've got Ingenuity and Quill Burst right now. So the Quill Burst in Shield Charge, when I hit a target with Shield Charge, if I haven't proc Thorns for a crit yet, the Shield Charge will proc Quill Burst, do Thorns damage around that target, and a lot of the times it will crit one of those Quill Bursts that will generate the Beira's Anguish. So that's why I've got Quill Burst slotted in there right now. It's just farming extra crit stuff. Right now, I've got Mobility, Steadfast, and Unbreakable in Raise Shield. I do a lot of Raise Shield movement right now, like a lot of it. Like, I'll approach mobs, and most of the time, I'm just going to have Raise Shield up. It's the best way to survive right now. It's possible that when I'm tankier, I'm literally just, again, doing what I did on my Arctic Armor Poison Reflect build, and I just ran through the map. But because I'm using the shield right now for the stats and stuff, there's no reason not to use Active Block just to mitigate as much damage as possible. So a lot of it is just running through the map like that. Currently not using any Cast on Charms use stuff. Blasphemy, I've got Despair, Magnified Effect, and Heightened Curse. Yeah, we're not really using many skills right now. All of my spirit is used up, and it's literally just the entire build is you get hit, you do any Thorns damage. Doesn't matter if it does the low roll or not. Doesn't matter at all. All that matters, it needs the crit. All that matters, it needs the crit. So let's talk about the passives. Let's talk about the Ascendancies first. So when you swap to this at level 52, you are going to want, of course, Gritting Immolation. It's core to enabling the charm. From there, Bringer of Flame is a good DPS increase, but Alter Flesh is a tankiness. Depends on like what your gear is like. Can go with either of them. Loyal Hellhound has some potential, but because I'm playing a Reflect style, I want things hitting me. I'm not quite sure on how to incorporate the Hellhound for this build, if it's better or not. But I opted not to, so I went for Altered Flesh, and then with my 4th Ascendancy points, I just put 2 into the 3% max life. So 6% extra max life instead of getting Loyal Hellhound or any of these other options. It just seemed like the best option for me. Again, with your first 2 points, whenever you swap to this at 52, you're just going to put these into probably Gritting Immolation and Altered Flesh, or Gritting Immolation and Bringer of Flame. Again, the only one that really matters is Gritting Immolation. It is core to the build. Okay, so let's start with the passive tree. This might change a lot. At one point, again, when I was leveling, I was like pathing through, getting a bunch of Thorn stuff. But again, Thorn stuff really doesn't matter. There's a lot of ways this can go to. You can come over here and get Chaos stuff, but I focus primarily on getting my crit up, getting my crit damage bonus higher, getting some fire stuff, and some max life stuff. So first we path up here. We get these magnitude nodes for Ignite and increases their duration. You also grab these Presence Area of Effect nodes, 20%, 15%, and 30% increase right there. Mind over Matter, I've talked about this a lot, but it's just a huge defensive buff. I mean, it's literally 749 extra life right now. Take these 3 nodes here. Eventually, you get some elemental res and some increased elemental damage. This does increase Beira's damage. In my jewels, I'll talk about those later, actually, because they're kind of scuffed. But you path over here. This is probably later in the tree. But you do get the Ignite and Burnout increases your Ignite DPS. And then Volcanic Skin, which is increased 8% damage as extra fire damage. These are the rolls I was talking about on wands that you can get that increase the damage of Beira's. It's the same effect here. It's just extra damage for us. More crit damage bonus here. A lot of our damage is coming from crit damage bonus. 30% increased damage with hits. Burning Nature is 25% increased fire damage, increased Ignite duration on enemies. Right now, as I'm leveling up, I'm just now getting these points, but my next 2 points at 90 and 91, I plan on getting my fire res higher, as well as my max elemental res here. This will help me round out my reses, and then because of altered flesh, just having as much fire res cap as higher. Like, if I could get fire res and max fire res cap and chance and stuff, I would. Like, getting your max fire res is going to be really nice for the survivability. Ended up taking Unbending to help with the stun threshold because I am using Ray's Shield a lot, as well as the 3% increased maximum life. And then Lasting Trauma. Lasting Trauma is magnitude of your ailments and increase duration, and then you have magnitude, and magnitude. Or, that's attack damage, that one doesn't matter, but... over here is more presence area of effect, making my presence bigger. Over here is critical hit chance, as well as more damage, more area of effect, crit damage bonus, and crit hit chance. So it was really just about getting my presence up, maximizing my life and my resistances, maximizing my magnitude of the fire damage, crit stuff, presence stuff. Like, it's pretty straightforward, right? Like, there's not much complex here. Now, if you want to really min-max this, you're going to want to get the Grand Spectrum Ruby. That is 2% maximum max life per Grand Spectrum you have. You want to get 3 of them. They are currently 6 to 7 divines each. My chat was telling me about there's like one of the meta builds is some life stacking Blood Mage, I think, that's farming Delirium. So that's why the rubies are expensive. But we would want 3 of those in a perfectly min-max build. That would be expensive. Right now, my jewels they all have presence area of effect, but these are all jewels that I had in my stash. So if I were to buy other ones, they would be different. But we have increased presence area effect, magnitude of ignite, presence area effect, magnitude of ignite, presence area effect, critical hit chance, and then presence area effect, magnitude of ignite. I'm not sure what's best rolls on these jewels yet, but obviously magnitude for ignite and presence of area effect are really nice. Crit damage bonus could be a good option. Crit hit chance is nice. Mana on kill, I would be buying that one right away. Is one of my first jewel upgrades, is getting % mana on kill. It's just really nice for the tankiness, because you'll be really full. You'll be fully replenishing your mana when you kill mobs after taking damage. Because you're going to take some damage sometimes, and it'll be super nice to have. But yeah, getting those Grand Spectrum Rubies would be a huge buff for the build as well. It's really fun, though. I'm pretty sure this is going to be my farming character for the foreseeable future. I just gotta get a little bit more rarity onto it, invest some money into it. But this was super cheap. Hopefully the price doesn't get too high. You know, it's a weird hybrid of the build because we're doing Thorns. So hopefully the Thorns version is cheap for you guys. And yeah, let me know your comments down below. And if you're wanting an update for it. Okay, that's the build. This will probably become my farming character. It's just really chill and easy. I need to get its defensives a little bit better, but as you can see, this potential is just next level. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Apologies to Darth microtransaction, we once again ran out of time. Take care, boys. See you in the next one.